Hello. What the hey? Okay. Well, we are not going live on Instagram today. We'll just keep trying this and we'll see what happens. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, lovelies. How are you on this beautiful Tuesday evening? So, we're live on Instagram. We'll see how long it lasts. Yesterday it did about half of the full-length live video, and then I took that video and I tried to upload it to YouTube because I like to do that so that if people happen to find me on YouTube, they have some content there. And if you would like to catch the replay and do it at like 1.5 speed, who is a 1.5 speed person when it comes to having that option? Your girl watches a lot of content on 1.5. So I went to upload yesterday's video to YouTube. I did it 3 times and it would not upload. So yesterday's content is very exclusive to my personal Facebook page. It must just be that good. So make sure you go back and catch yesterday's live because it must have just been that good. So welcome, lovelies. If you are watching on replay, please drop me a comment, #replay. If you are watching live, please say hello to me. If you are new to my world, tell me new so I can welcome you into my world. If we hang out sometimes, I would love it if you would say hello because we're friends. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Sarah Jordan, and I help women with their mental, their spiritual, their emotional, their business health through cycles. Everything has a cycle, and the fact that it's mirrored in our feminine body is just freaking amazing. So that's what I get to do, and I geek out over it, and it's awesome, and yes. So hello, Alicia. Could be Alicia, could be Alicia. I'm not sure, dear. If you want, after this, you could voice chat me in Messenger and tell me how to say your name. So I had a midwife who spelled her name exactly like yours, dear, and it was Alicia. So anyway, fun facts about me. A moment in mindfulness, a lesson in mindfulness. Ooh, hello, Sherry. Welcome. So good to see you. So I grew up with a mother who was word conscious to a degree. Like, she knew thoughts meant things. She knew words would impress and mean something big. And so she was careful with how she spoke most of the time and encouraged me in the best way that she possibly could how to speak in a productive manner rather than a degrading manner. And so throughout my life, this has been a foundation that I've just built on and built on and built on and built on and built on. And I've done it with my children also. Like from before infancy, from pregnancy, I have been mindful of what I have spoken over them. Probably to their detriment at sometimes because I'm like, they don't need to know that. They don't need to know that either. Your childhood will be better if you don't know that. And that could be a little bit, you never know. Hi, Rochelle. Oh, it's so good to see you. Thank you for saying hello. And so the more that I study the mind, the more that I study our words, the more very, very poignant, important, detrimental I find what we say and what we think to be just astronomical. And I knew all of this, but the more I learn about it and study it, the more big it really, really, really becomes. Will you please close that door? Please close the door. Please close the door. Sorry. He knew I was live, but he's also trying to fix a tech problem for me. So, thank you to my wonderful husband. And so, I teach about women's cycles, and for years, like into childhood, I have been affected by the moon. Drop moon in the comments for me if you have found that you have also been affected by the moon. Full moon specifically. Like maybe you don't get the best sleep during a full moon. maybe you just lay there and you're like, doo-doo-doo. Be nice when I can sleep in another 3 days. Let me know. Oh, hi, Carrie. Woo, so good to see you. Natalie's watching on Instagram. This is awesome. So cool, so cool, so cool. I have 2 phones going. I have one on Facebook and I have one on Instagram. This is so fun. So drop moon in the comments. I remember my mom saying this when I was little. Like, I don't get good sleep when it's a full moon. She's a hairdresser. She was a hairdresser for 35, 40 years. And so I heard a lot of adult conversation while I was, over at the table coloring. And so I picked up tons, like very, very mature 4-year-old, very, very mature 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18-year-old. Hence why my husband is 13 years older than me. Sherry says, I can see the difference in my children during the full moon. Absolutely. Carrie says, moon. Yes. So I definitely see the difference in my children, Sherry, but it started before I had children that I noticed something at the full moon. I'm like, I don't sleep as well at the full moon. And then I had children and I started watching them and it was like, you a different person at the full moon. And it took about 3 years of me saying this for my husband to be like, okay, you're not insane. Maybe there's something different here. And so I actually taught an entire course on this last year. It was called Lunar You, and it is housed in my vault at this moment. I don't know if I will do a round 2 of it at some point or not, but if I ever do, be sure you grab it or jump in resonance so you can watch it. But I did an entire course on this, like 4+ modules, where I was talking about how the moon affects us. And at the very, very base level of it, our human body is made up of what, like 90% water? And so at the very minimum, if the tide is affected by the moon, surely this human that's 90% water would in some way be affected by the moon, right? Now, I've been told that it's parasites. I've done all the parasite cleanses. I'm still affected by the full moon. So are my kids. And they've been through the parasite cleanses too. And I have some great parasite info if you ever desire. So I had to just come to that conclusion that the energetics of the moon, the fact that I am predominantly water, it all plays in somehow. And the more I looked at it, the more rhythmic it was, the more mirrored it was to my feminine flow. And like all of these puzzle pieces just like dropped into place. And so on the note of being that much water, I started looking into drop Emoto or Dr. Emoto in the comments for me if you have heard of Dr. Emoto. So he is an Asian scientist, I think he's a scientist, and he started looking at water particles, like under a microscope. And he would have water particles that he would say beautiful things to, like, you're gorgeous, you are well, you are life, have a good day. Or he would just speak like positive words to it, happy. And then he would look at the water molecules inside of that container under a microscope, and it would be the most beautiful, symmetrical crystal formations inside of each water molecule that you can possibly imagine. Like, you think looking at a little bitty snowflake that is like perfectly symmetrical and absolutely gorgeous, this is what he would find in the water particles that he spoke beautiful things to, positive things to. And so then he had a different group of water. He also had a control group, but he had a different group of water that he spoke really yucky things to. Like how bad it was, how awful it was, how evil it was, all negative things. And when he looked at those water molecules under the microscope, they were like misshapen and deformed. There was nothing symmetrical about them. They looked like they were physically in pain. If a water molecule feels pain, they looked like they were hurting. And so in taking this information, plus the fact that the moon affects me so much, it all kind of like makes this beautiful triangle of like, okay, you're 90% water-ish. moon affects you because you're so much percentage of water. And if I'm that much water, what I'm saying is either making my molecules beautifully blossom or is making my molecules go like this. What I'm thinking is having the exact same effect on my water molecules. And so even though I had the foundation of thoughts become things and be aware of and careful what you speak because words mean things, this is, biblically backed and scientifically backed now. Even though I had that foundation, it became very much more of a conscious effort to make sure that what I was speaking and thinking was blossoming into something beautiful. And so now, even in the last month, I have reached a new level of awareness in this. And this is something that I have taught on before, but I'm so much more conscious of it in the last month or so that I'm actually finding it difficult again. Let me know if this resonates with you. If you've ever had something that you feel like you're pretty good at. Could be chess, could be a sport, could be speed reading, could be Facebook Live, could be who knows what. You feel like you're pretty good at it. And then all of a sudden, maybe you're met with someone who's actually better at it than you are, and you're actually challenged, like you're having a hard time keeping up with that person, but with enough practice, you actually up level. This is what I have felt like has been happening in the last month. Like I knew all of this, and yet I've been upgrading in the last month. Specifically around the word don't. Your subconscious brain does not hear don't. It's like got the strike through on don't. It's not there. So if I say, don't touch the stove, it's hot, my child hears touch the stove, it's hot. And so I've been aware of this for, like I said, years. I've taught on this. You can scroll back to November or December, and I did an entire different Facebook Live all about this subject. But I've been even more aware of it in the last month, and specifically trying to reframe it to something positive for my children. So instead of don't touch the stove, baby, it's hot, it will burn you. And leaving them the choice of touch it or don't touch it. Today we were on a walk, and my 9-year-old had a stick, and he was poking at his sister. The immediate thing that came out was don't touch your sister with a stick. Wait, how do I reframe that? Respect your sister with the stick. I don't really want you to touch your sister at all with a stick, but how do I say that so that you register to have the stick be an extension of you and not touch her? Oh my gosh, how do I say this without saying don't? Respect your sister. Technically, he could still touch her with the stick if he's respecting her, unless she point blank says don't do that. And so it was like this up level in the moment of okay, how do we reframe this? Okay, be respectful of your sister's space. Are you in her space? Maybe I could ask a question. Are you in her bubble? Yes. Oh, is that a good idea? No. Okay, great. How can we fix that? And instead of a simple statement of don't touch your sister with a stick, it turns into, a triple length conversation, which to a busy mom can feel a little overwhelming, especially if you do this multiple times an hour, never mind multiple times a day. And yet, what you are doing when you take that triple time to work through it like that is you're allowing them the conscious choice of what they're going to do with the information that they have now received. Are you in your sister's bubble? Yes. Is that a good idea? No. What are you going to do about that? And you give him the choice to continue into her bubble and then, end up with her screaming and him in trouble, or remove the stick or the arm or the rock or the weed or the bike from his sister's space. When you take that time you put in that effort, when you're all of a sudden not there and your child has to make a decision, they have had however many triple time conversations, hours and hours and hours and hours of time with you as a guide, going, is this a good choice or a bad choice? Is this a good choice or a bad choice? Which one am I going to make? And they don't need you to hold their hand at some point because you've taken that triple time each time to help them be conscious in their decisions. If you had had that parent, what would your life be like now? If don't do this and don't do that was not a part of your childhood vocabulary, it's not such a default now. And so when you're telling yourself, don't eat that, or trying to lose weight, your brain hears, eat that, we'll lose weight. My daughter is knocking on the wall. I hope you can't hear that. Let me message my husband. Maybe I won't. We'll just let it go. So, whatever your goal is, whatever your desire is, reframe it to something positive, because your brain interprets positive and runs in that direction. Do you want to run towards the thing that you desire? Do you want to run towards your goal? Or do you want to run in the opposite direction because you keep reaffirming to yourself, don't do that? That's not good. Personally, I want to run towards my goal. I want to run towards my desire at lightning speed, if that's possible. And because, my brain is this supercomputer that was made in the image of Creator, I have that ability. I just have to start, hitting the right buttons, doing the right coding, doing the right programming to make us run at lightning speed towards our desire. So I'd like you to look, if you have a goal sheet, if you have a list of affirmations, if you have something along those lines, or maybe you don't and you desire to, write those out this evening and put the positive spin on them. Leave out the don'ts, leave out the nots, leave out the lacks, L-A-C-K-S, and see what kind of positive spin you can put on this thing that you're running towards. And start having that be the tape that plays in your mind day in and day out. Start having that be the words that come out of your mouth, either to yourself and or to your children, or your spouse, your partner, the people you work with. And see how quickly your world actually changes for the better. Be mindful of what comes out here. Be mindful of what goes on in here. And pick the better feeling thought. Carrie says, I've been doing that and it makes such a difference. Absolutely. So we actually almost had an accident this evening. I was coming home. I took my boys up to karate. I dropped car seats off with my husband and I had my 2 daughters in the van. And we are on the main highway driving at the proper speed limit. And there's an intersection that's actually really hard to see if you're the one sitting at the stop sign. And a white dually pickup was 3/4 of the way into the intersection and I'm slamming on the brakes so that we don't hit him. He stops when he sees me at the 3/4 of the way into the intersection mark, and he backs up. I'm like, you were basically the same distance either direction, and I was getting stopped, but thank you, I guess, at least you saw us. I had milk jars to take back to the place that we get, where we buy hay for the goats, to take back there. They went flying to the floor. Thankfully, they did not break. My purse went flying. My phone went flying. All the things went flying. And I was very shook up in the moment. Deep breathing. There was not a great place to pull over. I just made sure that the sound, isn't it amazing how, and it seems to be worse for me, but like I can't do sound when I have anything else to process. Like I'm like, cut the sound, any sound that's not necessary. So whatever we were listening to, I had something on YouTube playing. We weren't watching, well, my kids were watching it. I was not watching it, but we had something on YouTube playing. I was like, okay, pause that. Feel the feelings. You're okay. Girls, are you okay? Yes, mommy, we're okay. That's why you wear your seatbelts, girls, because even though we didn't hit him, you could have been, like on the dash when I hit those brakes as hard as I did. And then reframing it to, instead of we almost were in an accident, thank you that we are healthy and whole and okay. Not even bringing accident into my realm of awareness. Like, yes, that's what almost happened, but it didn't. So let's reframe it in this instant. And I did it out loud, so my girls had it too. We are healthy, we are whole, we are okay. Thank you, Yah, that we are healthy, we are whole, and we are okay. And I just reaffirmed that for like the next mile or more, probably mile. Until my nervous system was kind of calmer. The tears were no more. And then we went back to what we were listening to on YouTube. But I'm so thankful that we are healthy, whole, and okay. But that I also had that moment with my girls where I got to reframe something for them in the instant. Super cool. So make a list of whatever you are working toward, be it physical, be it financial, be it your business, be it your home, your relationships, and make sure that they all have that positive spin on them. How do you want it to feel? How do you want it to be? And avoid don't, because your brain just negates it. Okay, I love you all, and I will see you soon. Oh, wait, Infinity Cup. If this landed for you, and you're like, wow, I want this to come up on my memories next year, or my sister Susie needs to see this, go ahead and share this video. Drop shared in the comments for me so that I know you shared it publicly. And then your name goes into the Infinity Cup. And we are drawing a name either Thursday or the very beginning of next week. And when your name comes out, you get coaching dollars. You get one-on-one time with me. You might get bonus into a VIP day. You never know what's going to happen. So please do share this video. Drop shared in the comments for me so I know you shared it. And I will get your name into the Infinity Cup. Okay.